The night sky was a canvas of swirling galaxies and glittering constellations, casting a ghostly glow over the tranquil town of Astralis. The observatory, perched atop the highest hill, stood sentinel against the celestial backdrop. Inside, Lyra hurriedly scribbled equations and star charts, her slender fingers dancing across the parchment like musical notes. The air was thick with anticipation, but also a sense of foreboding. Tonight, the stars spoke louder than they ever had before. Zephyr, an ethereal shadow cat with eyes as bright as twin moons, padded silently across the cold stone floor. His voice was a soft purr that filled her mind rather than her ears. "The stars whisper their secrets to you, Lyra. Are you ready to listen?" Lyra paused, catching her breath. "I am," she replied, though doubt tugged at her resolve. Since childhood, she'd been fascinated by the cosmic tales etched across the sky. Now, she had stumbled upon something that was more than just legend, a prophecy. It spoke of a chosen one who would heal the fractures between realms, preventing a cosmic catastrophe that threatened to tear the universe asunder. The Ancient Whisperer, they called her, a title both daunting and heavy. Even as the weight of destiny pressed down upon her shoulders, Lyra knew she couldn't undertake this journey alone. "Zephyr, if the prophecy holds any truth, we must gather those who can help us," she said, her voice wavering but determined. Zephyr nodded, his tail flicking thoughtfully. "Yes, allies will be essential. But tread lightly, Lyra. Shadows lurk where light dares to shine." Lyra shivered at the unspoken dangers that lay ahead. But if the teachings had prepared her for anything, it was this climatic moment of choice. Swallowing her fear, she turned to face the glowing cosmos, feeling the pulse of an ancient power sleeping within. The path was set, and though treacherous, it was hers to follow. "Let's go," Lyra whispered, as the familiar stars above glittered in anticipation. The fate of worlds hung in the balance, and time was slipping like sand through an hourglass. The pale dawn light crept over the waking world just as Lyra and Zephyr made their way through the cobbled streets of Astralis. Few were stirring at this hour, giving the town an ethereal feel as morning mist swirled, weaving between buildings like a specter. "Where do we start?" Lyra pondered aloud, her feet guiding her to the market square. Zephyr leapt deftly onto a sun-dappled wall, his whiskers twitching. The prophecy hints of guardians hidden in plain sight, those with talents they themselves may not yet recognize. As the square came into view, the market was just stirring to life. Sun-touched vendors uncloaked their goods, filling the air with the heady scent of ripe fruits and pungent spices. Yet, despite the vibrancy that greeted her eyes, Lyra felt the pull towards a muted stall set slightly apart from the rest. A figure hunched over a table covered in ancient relics and shimmering trinkets. An old woman with eyes as sharp and knowing as Zephyr's. Lyra hesitated, sensing the wizened woman had a secret to share. "Step closer, star child," croaked the woman, tapping the edge of her table. "You seek allies in your quest, yes?" Caught off guard that her secret was so easily perceived, Lyra nodded, drawn forward by a wisdom as old as the earth. "I'm called Eldara. These baubles hide nothing but history, much like you." "You seek a map," the old woman rasped, producing a rolled parchment tied with celestial silk. Curiosity piqued, Lyra accepted it. "A map to what?" Eldara's laugh was a rustle of dry leaves. "To those who must walk beside you, one lies near our and the last dwells in the skies above," she said cryptically. Lyra unrolled the map, the lines and angles unraveling a path only she and those of her ilk could decipher. A small illumination of hope sparked within. Companions awaited, as did answers. "Hurry, star child! Time's winged messengers are but whispers behind," Eldara warned, waving her away with a weary hand. Clutching the map, Lyra stepped back, eyes wide with determination and gratitude. Nodding farewell to the enigmatic woman, she turned to Zephyr. "We must make haste. There are others out there," she said, her heart thumping with fervor. With Zephyr by her side, Lyra embarked into the gray-pink thaw of morning, leaving Astralis behind on the first stretch of their grand journey. The sun now hung low in the sky, casting elongated shadows as Lyra and Zephyr followed the map's intricate lines to the edge of the whispering forest. Legend spoke of the forest's sentient trees, guardians that allowed passage only to those they deemed worthy. As they approached, Zephyr murmured, "Stay close, Lyra. The path bends with more than just nature's will here." Together they stepped into a world transformed, a tapestry of rustling leaves and singing branches. The air hummed with ancient melodies, as though the forest itself was alive and aware of their presence. Lyra consulted Eldara's map once more, tracing the route that snaked towards their first ally. "We're seeking someone called Arios," she muttered, as if to remind herself more than Zephyr. "Look," Zephyr's soothing voice resonated through her thoughts, and she followed his gaze to a clearing ahead. In the clearing, a young man danced through a series of fluid movements, his staff spinning in harmony with the breeze. Arcs of energy crackled at his fingertips, leaving trails of ethereal light in the crisp air. Clearing her throat, Lyra approached cautiously. "Are you Arios?" she called. The young man halted, setting the staff against the trunk of a towering tree. His eyes, a startling shade of sapphire, met hers with an intensity that hinted at untried depths. "I am," Arios replied, brushing tendrils of his dark hair away. "And you are the Star Child, come to call me to the Ancient's quest." Surprised, Lyra nodded, her heart catching at the ease with which he accepted the impossible. "You know of the prophecy?" A gentle grin crossed Arios's lips. "I've had dreams, visions of what's to come. The forest guides me as much as it binds me." Lyra saw that the forest was as much a part of Arios as the moon was part of the night. "Will you join us?" she asked. Arios lifted his staff, nodding with resolve. "The winds carry rumors of what threatens all realms. Yes, I will stand with you." With Arios now in their company, the trio set farther into the forest's heart, the whisper of the trees mingling with the promise of adventure anew. The forest watched over them as they journeyed deeper, each step reverberating with the echoes of destiny. The path was no longer theirs alone. It stretched far beyond the horizon, toward a fate interwoven with starlight and shadow. The whispering forest soon gave way to the rugged hills that formed the boundary to the shimmering plains, a vast expanse known for its rolling fields of luminescent grass that danced like waves beneath the moonlight. "Our next ally awaits beyond the horizon," Lyra said, studying the map where stars and lines formed patterns only she could decipher. "Aeolus is his name." Arios nodded. "Ever heard of the Sky Chasers? They say Aeolus is one." Lyra gazed at him, intrigued. "Sky Chasers? They're rumored to ride the winds as if they were one with the sky, messengers of the clouds," Arios explained, adjusting his staff along his back. The trio pressed onward, the luminous fields stretching endlessly before them as dusk fell, painting the sky in hues of flame and indigo. In the distance, silhouetted against the fading light, Lyra caught sight of something unusual. A figure, standing on a hilltop, arms wide open as though in embrace with the heavens, hair and cloak billowing wildly with the wind. Zephyr, with his acute senses, nodded towards the figure. "He is expecting us. Surely that must be Aeolus." Sure enough, as they crested the hill, the figure turned. Aeolus was a young man whose features clipped between shadows and light. His eyes, however, gleamed with kinship to the very elements themselves. "You've been a long time coming," Aeolus greeted them, his voice carried by the gentle zephyrs around. "I felt you in the shift of things." Lyra, holding the parchment rolled in her hand, spoke with reverence. "We need your help, Aeolus. The stars have called us to unite against the encroaching darkness." He examined them with a calculating gaze before nodding sharply. "The winds have been restless, the skies speak of imbalance, an evil that seeks to unravel what can't be undone." Arios eyed Aeolus with an equal mix of awe and respect. "Will you fly with us, Sky Chaser?" Aeolus's grin was confident. "To fly would be my honor, especially when the very fabric of reality depends on it." And just like that, the party was complete for this next leg of their journey, strengthened by the elemental bonds that tied Aeolus to the celestial dance unfolding above. Now, with the whispering wind at their backs and glimmers of moonlit guidance, they set out across the shimmering plains with purpose. The path ahead grew clearer, though fraught with trials yet to reveal themselves. But as Lyra led them forward, her heart thrummed with a newfound sense of unity and hope. The shimmering plains gave way to the jagged peaks of the celestial mountains. Snow-capped summits reached out to the stars, casting cold shadows upon the winding paths below. As the newly bonded group ascended the spine of the world, the air grew thin, crisp, and laden with an unspoken promise. "This is where the ethereal and the tangible intersect," Zephyr mused, padding silently between the group, his fur stark against the frosty rocks. Lyra tightened her cloak against the biting wind, consulting Eldara's map once more. "Our last ally awaits in the skies themselves," she said aloud, her breath visible in the air. "A beacon among stars." The words brought a spark of excitement to Aeolus's eyes. "Surely a challenge fit for those who chase the wind," he quipped, a gust brushing playfully through his hair. Fear crept into the edges of Lyra's determination as she peered towards the mountain peaks, knowing the enormity of finding one that flew beyond sight. "How do you find someone who calls the cosmos home?" she questioned, thinking aloud. Arios, who had been communing silently with the elements around him, replied with assured tranquility. "By listening to the universe, Lyra. Sometimes, to find what we seek, we must let go of expectation and let the cosmos guide us." It was then that a majestic plume of light tore through the firmament, a comet streaking close to the earth, trailing a veil of stars. The celestial dance drew their eyes upwards, marveling at the phenomenon that defied earthly reasoning. "Look," Arios gestured, his voice carrying a note of awe. "The comet doesn't come alone." The luminous trail revealed the silhouette of a majestic figure gliding alongside, their final ally. Griffons were legendary creatures thought to bridge realms, and Astralwing was one such myth. The griffon's eyes glowed with cosmic fire as it spiraled down, landing gracefully upon a large outcrop before the group. Its presence radiated ancient wisdom and unyielding strength. "Astralwing," Aeolus murmured, stepping forward. "The prophecy we're bound to follows you too. Will you join us in this battle of realms?" The griffin studied them each in turn, silent as stardust, before offering a regal nod of understanding. With Astralwing's acceptance, a powerful circle was now complete. Together, human, elemental, and myth forged a bond unyielding, an alliance destined to face the void. Their strengths intertwined like constellations in the sky, each one a necessary piece of the cosmic puzzle at hand. The mountain whispered their names into its unending winds as they forged a path to where destiny awaited, hearts intertwined with the resolve of their shared mission. The camaraderie among Lyra and her eclectic band warmed the chill of the mountain air as they descended from the celestial mountains, heading toward the convergence, where the threads of their quest would entwine. To those sensitive to cosmic shifts, the convergence was believed to be a locus of ancient energy, where realms whispered to one another. Their journey now led them through a dense forest shrouded in permanent twilight. The canopy above wove a tapestry so thick that only stray slivers of sunlight could pierce through, casting eerie patterns on the path. The air was heavy, charged with unseen power. Lyra felt an odd sense of solace amidst the darkened woods, a kinship resonating within her. "This place, it's alive," she remarked, brushing her fingers against a trunk etched with glowing runes. Zephyr, always perceptive, nodded. "Each flicker in the forest tells a tale older than the mountains themselves. We must tread thoughtfully." Following the shimmering map's guidance, the group wound through the thickets until they reached a glade where time itself seemed to pool and expand. An ancient stone archway stood sentinel, carved with sigils of constellations Lyra recognized. Incantations from a forgotten age. It was here, Arios surmised, that their path to the other realms would begin. The convergence. "It's unlike any place we've tread. We need a ritual to pass through," he shared, eyes narrowing with intent as he scanned the archway. Aeolus stepped forward, the sky's wind tethered to his call. "Nature here speaks a cosmic language. If we can synchronize our essence with that of the universe, the veil will lift." Astralwing spread its mighty wings, casting a shadow that melded with the landscape, empowering them with its ethereal song. Together, they formed a circle around the archway, letting the resonance of their combined energies reverberate through the stones. Lyra, heart pounding with both excitement and trepidation, closed her eyes and felt the power deep within, her mind reaching for the celestial voices that sung in her dreams. She imagined the sky above, the stars aligning as if in dance. Suddenly the runes on the archway shifted, flaring to life. The air shimmered, and a pulse like a heartbeat flowed through them. "It is done," Zephyr's voice announced, his eyes knowing as they flickered between realms. Before them, the fabric of reality ebbed and flowed, revealing paths unseen to mortal eyes, corridors of light that led to the heart of their quest. The cosmic bridge had been forged. Stepping together through the gateway, Their surroundings shifted instantly, and the forest fell away, replaced by a dazzling landscape that defied imagination. Lyra and her companions stood at the threshold of a new world, each taking a collective breath as they prepared to face the trials that lay beyond. The realm beyond the convergence was unlike anything Lyra had ever imagined. It was an interweaving of dimensions, a kaleidoscope of colors and forms that defied the natural order she was used to. Here, gravity was fluid, and the air hummed with possibilities as planets drifted lazily in the ethereal void. Their feet touched down upon a pathway of light, stretched across a cosmic sea, with stars blinking in patterns that echoed the melody of the cosmos. Each step resonated with a symphony of harmonics, carrying them closer to their purpose. The center nexus, Arios breathed, eyes wide as children's, where all realms converge. Lyra grasped Zephyr's presence beside her, grateful for the feline's stoic composure. "We must be nearing the epicenter of the disruption," she stated, feeling the inexplicable pull in her chest grow stronger. As they ventured further, a colossal structure began to take shape on the horizon, a spire of crystalline light that spiraled upwards, entwining with the celestial bodies. It was both object and energy, a harmonious blend of form and essence. Aeolus glanced at the structure, a cautious determination lining his features. The ancient's power resides there, or what remains of it. Suddenly, shadows began to coalesce in the periphery, formless specters peeling away from the light. Their dark presence hacked at the tranquility of the realm and sent a chill through the air. "The Voidborn," Zephyr growled, fur bristling as he observed them take shape. Creatures of living shadow, birthed from the encroaching darkness that did not belong, drawn to the realm's light. "Here, we stand as one," Astralwing spoke with a voice like 1,000 whispers, extending its wings wide as a shield. Despite the creeping dread shadowing them, Lyra felt her resolve harden. "We must reach the spire and restore the balance," she urged, heart thundering in her chest. With a collective nod, they surged forward, their solidarity forming a bulwark against the Voidborn. Aerial combat ensued as Astralwing swooped with predatory grace, Aeolus and Arios wielding the elements to create barriers of wind and light. Lyra found herself at the fore of their formation, her hand instinctively reaching out towards the spire. Within its glow, she sensed destined power, an ancient promise yet fulfilled. As they closed the distance, the spire reacted to her presence, its light brightening like a star on the verge of supernova. Whatever trials lay inside awaited them, a necessary crucible on their path to securing the realm. Together, they stood at the foot of the spire, where reality seemed to unravel into golden threads, weaving a new tapestry with endless potential. The spire of light loomed before them, an awe-inspiring nexus of energy humming with ancient vigor. Each footstep towards its base felt like stepping into a new reality, a place where the echoes of time and space intersected. Lyra stood transfixed, feeling a connection as profound as stardust. "This is where the prophecy threads come together," she murmured, knowing that within the spire's core lay the key to healing the rift between realms. Arios, ever attuned to the ebb and flow of magic, could see the traces of ancient runes within the luminous walls. "The ancients left us the tools to mend the fracture, but we must wield them wisely," he cautioned. A challenge awaited them inside the ascending corridors of light. That much was unmistakable. Shadows whispered along the edges of their vision, a snaking presence that deterred the unwary. Each step upon the spiral staircase sang with cosmic harmonies, echoing purpose sharply. Aeolus, with his boundless curiosity, probed the ethereal expanse. "There is a center, an equilibrium we must reach. Lyra, your touch anchors us." His voice was firm, assuring that together they could shift the balance back. At the core of the spire, a vast chamber stretched out around them, its heart a pulsating crystal suspended in the air, held by unseen forces. It radiated a light both fierce and gentle, a beacon of hope in the cosmos. Cycling around the crystal orb were glyphs of light, constellations far older than any memory or dream. "These tell the story of our beginnings," Zephyr observed, his eyes reflecting the glimmer of ancient lore. Just then, The shadows that had lingered outside the spire's reach lunged forward, taking form within the chamber. A master of void, cloaked in darkness, an embodiment of chaos. Executor of oblivion, Astralwing whispered, unfurling its wings protectively. Disruptor of the celestial continuum. Aware of the crisis at hand, Lyra extended her hand toward the crystal. As her fingers brushed its surface, strands of light flowed into her, filling her with a warmth that resonated like a symphony. Infusing her allies with strength, Lyra turned to face the shadowed entity. "We will not permit reality to unravel," she declared, voice steadfast, a vow carried on the waves of the spire's power. Together, they formed a phalanx, Arios using his command of elements, Aeolus wielding winds like a maestro, Astralwing's celestial light bending the void to its will, and Zephyr's shadowy prowess undermining the entity's own. In this pivotal moment, destiny danced at a crossroads, light and shadow in a cosmic waltz that would determine the outcome of their reality, enacting the ancient prophecy that Lyra now lived. The confrontation in the heart of the spire was awe-inspiring, an astral clash between creation and chaos, with Lyra and her allies fighting to preserve the sanctity of their universe. The shadow entity, a manifestation of cosmic imbalance, loomed menacingly, darkness swirling around like a storm. Arios, his staff a conduit for the energies of the elements, danced through the chamber, channeling light into breathtaking arcs that cleaved through shadows, each strike pushing back the creeping dark. Aeolus, ever nimble and resourceful, summoned gales that funneled through the spire, forming barriers that thwarted the entity's tendrils. "Nature itself rallies to our cause," he affirmed, his spirit unyielding. Astralwing took to the air, weaving through the darkness with ethereal grace. The griffon slashed with wings edged in starlight, its haunting call a rallying cry that bolstered its companions. Bound by fate and friendship, Zephyr darted between shadows, using his affinity to disrupt the void's unity, sowing discord within its ranks. "Courage, Lyra," his thoughts reached her, the rare warmth of his voice gripping her heart. Drawing deeply from the crystal's radiance, Lyra felt the surge of the ancient's power streaming through her. It was more than energy, it was choice, a tapestry of possibilities spun from threads of forgotten time. "We are the weavers of destiny," she declared to her team. And with those words, Lyra invoked the light. The spire responded with an incandescent flare, flooding the chamber in brilliance, burning back the tendrils of shadow. The glyphs orbited furiously around the crystal, aligning into constellations that mirrored the heavens above, resonating with ancient wisdom. The shadow entity recoiled, its form unraveling under the celestial onslaught. Yet it struggled, defiant against the binding forces arrayed before it. Lyra, feeling the cosmic dance settle into a final, harmonious cadence, understood that the time had come to restore the balance. She stepped forward, willing the radiant crystal to absorb the discord and heal the rift. Her spirit, intertwined with her allies, focused the confluence of starlight. Their combined will forged a new reality wherein light and darkness entwined in harmony, not as foes but as necessary halves of the whole. In that instant, the spire sang with eternal equilibrium, dispersing shadows and destabilized chaos, sealing the void and birthing a new dawn. Their task had brought them to the precipice of creation itself, and they had chosen to create anew. As the light settled, transforming from searing brightness to a gentle luminescence, a tranquil stillness enveloped the chamber. Lyra found herself awash in profound calm, the gravity of their triumph settling elegantly within her soul. In the wake of their victory, an exquisite silence cloaked the spire, as if the universe itself paused to acknowledge the restoration of its balance. Lyra, Arios, Aeolus, Zephyr, and Astralwing stood amidst a gentle glow that still echoed the spire's song, their hearts beating in time with the rhythm of the cosmos. Lyra, feeling the caress of the ancient's whispers, understood her journey was both an end and a beginning. The prophecy, fulfilled in its immediate purpose, had unlocked new paths, a realm previously unbeknownst to her. "The sky has shifted," Arios observed, the weight of the moment settling upon his shoulders. "It's as if the stars themselves are singing a new melody." Aeolus looked skyward, a mix of wonder and contentment evident on his face. "We've set a new course, opened new constellations to guide the way." Zephyr stretched luxuriously at Lyra's feet, his shadowy pelt still glinting with residual starlight. The tapestry of existence has gained countless new threads, all from your hands, Lyra. The formal glow of the crystal softened, the spire's energies now at peace, a testament to their celestial stewardship. With its duty fulfilled, the Nexus transformed, crafting portals to realms beyond imagination, glimpses of boundless possibilities. Astralwing stepped gracefully beside Lyra, inclining its majestic head. For a creature of myth, its eyes spoke of a bond unbreakable, its loyalty a flame eternal. Together, their journey back to the realm of the mundane merged seamlessly with relived memories. And yet they understood they could never return as they had left. Something fundamental within them had been altered forever, strengthened, bound indelibly through trial and triumph. As Astralwing carried them across the threshold through the portal back to their world, they re-emerged into the familiar landscape. The sky's dusk was painted in a way that was both new and beautifully timeless, a testament to the changing cycle they had secured. Each of them knew their paths intertwined with the stars, their destinies shimmering bright against the void. Their unity had kindled a light strong enough to challenge shadows, something that would sustain the realms for generations to come. Returning to Astralis, the town seemed unchanged yet meaningfully different. Its people had no inkling of the monumental clash within the celestial spire, but their lives thrummed with a subtle harmony greater than before. Together, Lyra and her companions stood at the hill overlooking their familiar world, hearts full of gratitude for the journey they had embarked on and the cosmic dance they had become part of. The stars whisper of future quests, Lyra reflected, unshed tears glinting in her eyes, mirrored by the evening sky awash with twilight's embrace. Arios, Aeolus, Zephyr, and Astralwing gathered around her, united in purpose and friendship. The constellations above twinkled in acknowledgement, as if bowing to their courage. Thus, under the vast heavens, bonded by a promise as timeless as the stars themselves, they stood ready for what wonders and mysteries awaited them, together.